Welcome to another tutorial. So in last week's tutorial, we made this horrible spaghetti monster tentacle thing, which if we just play, which you can see specifically focus on the frame rate around here. You'll see as the game continues, it'll start dropping very quickly. As you can see, it went from 60 to 49, 48, 43, 41, 39. Like imagine trying to play a game with the frame rate drops faster than the countdown timer, and we're about to drop below 30. No, maybe, yes. Okay, 26. So, any case, so as you can see, it's absolutely horrible um, frame rate and just the way we handle it. Now, currently, the way it is set up, I am doubtful that we ever have more than like 5 ranged units at a time. But just for the sake of good coding practices, I think I just want to change a few things just to make it a bit more practical to use. So let's head on over and on into the ranged monster class. So you can see I have it open, and to start off with, I have my notes open on my other screen. So just going to go through the notes, implement what I did, and I'll explain as we go. Yeah. So our shot variable, currently it's a bit too high, and also it's an integer, which is so dumb since I made it a float over here. I don't know why my brain left me when I did that. So we don't want it to be 0, otherwise they'll just fire continuously if it's ever 0. So we'll make it between 0.5, which is fair, since the elapsed time should be, if you have 60 frames per second, it should be about 0.1 maybe, I think. Seconds, but the 0.1 time elapsed between frames. So we'll make it 0.5 and 3 because 5 is a bit too high, because then you'll have units that fires, goes to bed, wakes up the next morning, it's like, oh crap, I had to fire another shot. So it just doesn't work really well. So further down, let's see if I implement anything else. Should fire, target, projectile. No, that all looks good. So we just made it so that it fires less. Now over into the projectile class. Let's see. So here I implemented it. So currently the way it works is the projectile, it just stays alive forever. And that's dumb, since the moment it goes off screen, we don't really care about it. So we will implement a duration alive of type float. So this variable will keep track of how long each of the projectiles has been on the screen and things like that. So duration alive, we can just set that to 0. And then under the update function, so let's just get an update, override, and then update. We want the duration alive to be plus equals elapsed. So in some of the other frameworks, you would often see they would only use elapsed time, they use delta time, which is the same thing, except elapsed delta time, I mean, just means the difference between the times, which is the exact same thing as delta time. So, and since we made it private, we should probably get a getter for it. Public function get duration alive float. Awesome. So that's everything for the projectile class, I believe. Just making sure. Yeah, that's everything for the projectile class. Now on to the play state. So in the play state, one of the first things we want to do is, like we did with the ranged monsters, we want to keep it in the typed group. So we say projectiles. Oh, here we go. Projectile. Awesome. So just before player or after player or whatever. Also, since the player can shoot, I think it's just a bit safer to initialize it before the player. So typed group of projectile, and then we add the projectiles to the screen. Awesomeness. Now, when the player shoots, we don't want to add the projectile to the screen itself. We want to say projectiles.add. So this will add the projectile directly to the screen to make sure that it stays alive. It's in the group, and the group can then loop over it like we did with the monsters. Cool. So now we want a function to handle all projectiles, which we can make private. Function handle. Oh, and by the way, sorry for if my face is a little bit darker than usual. It's been a very rainy week, and I've been holding off on doing this video in the hopes that there will be more sunlight, but unfortunately, as you can see, it's getting darker. Personally, I'm loving it, since I have a very high body temp usually, and I suffer with heat. So having cold all the time is really awesome. So projectile of type projectile. Cool. So now we want to loop over each projectile and say if project. Okay. No, why you do this? Project. I swear, some days I just cannot type for the life of me, and it's so weird. So get duration alive is greater or equal to 2. So if the projectile has been alive for an extended period of time, which in this case is 2, we want to say the projectile dot alive equals false, and the projectile dot exists equals false. Now in HaxeFlixel there is a command called destroy, which I can show you if I just comment these out. Projectile dot destroy. So this will destroy the projectile, but as you can see here, can't be used anymore. If it may even cause crashes if it's still part of a group or state. So this is important because we are using it part as a typed group, and it is part of the Flixel state. And I'll show you what happens if we do use it. And I tried it, it does crash. So they recommend that you use kill instead. So I just used with set alive and exists as zero as false. But I guess according to them, kill. Let's see it. Handles killing game object, use reset to revive, then default behavior is however, if you want a corpse remaining in game like animate, you should override this, setting only alive to false. And okay, cool. So it's a function that practically did what I did, and now I feel like an idiot for only realizing it. Like, I think that it's been like 2 weeks since I recorded the previous video. So I tend to record the video weeks in advance. That way I don't have any issues with scheduling where I like start panicking because I didn't schedule something, or I scheduled something and now I have to record a video and go do that. So I just recorded up front. But in any case, so we kill it. Now we just want to go over into the update, just below monsters. We say projectiles dot for each alive exists or alive. But my note with exists, so let's go with that. Handle monster, no. Handle projectiles. We just update the name. It's not projectile, it's projectiles with an S. Like the person. Yeah, any case. That should be everything. Oh, wait. No. We added it when the player shoots. So even if the player shoots, it's added to projectiles. Cool. I think that should work, except for the crash that we obviously want to do. So I want to show you that it crashes so that you can see if you ever get the same error that you have an understanding. And you can see the frame rate keeps up. You're going to crash on me. Going to handle it like the champ that you are. But you can see the frame rate keeps up, and it's still bullet hell. It's just no longer tentacle hell. So sadly, no hentai for us. I mean, I guess. No crashing, really. You're not going to crash on me. How dare you? I was expecting crashes. You're gonna keep doing this to me? Go away. See if we set this to 1. And F5 again. Like, have you ever noticed if you try to show someone something that it's then when it fails? Like, why? And also, it's interesting that they aim for the top left corner of the object. I should actually look into it to see if I can't maybe move it to the middle of the player, although it should work either way. And it's just not crashing this time. Wow, what a bummer. That sucks. That really sucks. But just take my word for it. Maybe play around with it. See if you can't get it to crash for you. But for now, I'm just going to keep this as projectile kill. And that's about it for this week's tutorial. It's a bit shorter, I think, but it's still good to do this. So at least now we know that even if we do create like a full-on Doom Eternal style bullet hell game with like 100 enemies all shooting at us at the same time, we can still handle all of it, and our game won't start lagging even if it's on a proper computer. Either way, thank you for watching, enjoy your week, and see you next time. Oh wait, before we forget, please drop a like and subscribe, and also come follow me on Twitter. Thank you. Enjoy your day.